There are so many smaller towns around Portugal to explore as viable options for living. So have you discovered Maia? Only 11 kilometers north of central Porto and well connected by the metro, you could experience being close to the city but have a little more space, a lower cost of living, and so much more. I'm Kalie.
And I'm Josh. Let's go take a look at Maia.
Prices have been rising all around Portugal, especially in the housing industry, so this might lead you to explore smaller towns and cities as possible places to move to. If you take a look at Maia, you'll see that you don't necessarily need a car, but it might be helpful since things are more spread out here.
If you stay close to the downtown area where the metro runs, it's very doable to walk. But a little outside of this area, you'll start to find hills. With plenty of apartment options and amenities, this would be a great location to check out first.
But then as you move a little away from here, you'll find more space and even landed homes. You can still choose to walk or ride a bike, but a car is probably better.
We'll get to housing in a little bit though. Before that, you need to decide if you're comfortable with the weather in the north of Portugal, as you'll experience more rain and cooler temperatures compared to towns in Algarve, for example.
Due to its location, Maia has fairly temperate temperatures. In the summer, the average highs get into the 70s and the lows in the 50s, so not too hot. In the winters, the highs will be in the 50s and the lows in the 40s, so not too cold either. You'll get rain in the winters though.
The population for this municipality is around 135,000 people, with a majority being Portuguese and a wide spread of ages. The area is growing in popularity for non-Portuguese residents though.
For all of you soccer fans out there, it's important to note that Bruno Fernandes was born here and grew up in Maia.
Boo, Man United. There's quite a mix of traditional and modern in the city. You can spend time in the gardens of Quinta dos Cónigos, an 18th century Baroque style house, or get a 360 view from the Lidador Tower, currently the 5th tallest building in Portugal.
For the animal lovers out there, you have the Maia Zoo, along with Val Leandro, an agricultural and livestock company that offers guided tours and workshops for experiences and gastronomy.
The Forum hosts a variety of concerts and events, along with the city having plenty of festivals and exhibitions to keep you entertained and busy.
There's a large sports complex with places to run, play soccer, skateboard, and more. It's a nice green and open space right in the heart of the city.
In the northern part, you even have more space and parks. While these parts do have the metro running through it and some buses, it's best to have a car because of how it's laid out.
There aren't loads of rentals in the Maia area, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. More and more are popping up. You can find apartments or landed homes.
A T1 in the city center will run around 800 euros, but there are other options listed for higher. Maia is quite big, so if you move away from the metro line, prices drop, but just a little. Remember that location and whether it's furnished or not will dictate a lot in terms of price.
If you're looking for something a little bigger, a T3 in the city center is around 1,500 to 2,000 euros and dropping to maybe 12 to 1,500 outside of the center. Again though, there's not much available for rent, which can cause prices to be high.
If you're looking to buy, you have way more options, but there's quite a range. For a T1 close to the city center, near the metro line and the Forum, you can find something turnkey for under 200,000 euros. There's some options for even less, but you might need some light updating.
Moving further out, the prices actually still hover around 200,000 euros because you tend to have more space. So you might have a bigger T1 with a yard, for example. There's quite a variety and a lot will depend on where you want to be located, but it's good to think of the 200,000 euro range for a T1.
For buying something bigger like a T3, there's a massive range. Around 200,000 like the T1s, but that's on the lower end. Budgeting closer to 300,000 is more ideal, and the prices can get up to 400,000 euros as well. It really just depends on certain factors and what's important to you.
As for other costs, basic utilities are around 120 euros, milk is under €1, a kg of apples is around 150, and a mid-range bottle of wine at the store is 5 euros.
Catching an inexpensive meal at a restaurant will be around 10 euros, and a mid-range restaurant for two is around 30 euros. Be on the lookout for the traditional Portuguese places and for the daily menus.
There are public and private schools in Maia, but if you're looking for an international school, then you'll have to head into Porto. For higher education, the University of Maia is here and is easily accessible by metro.
Maia is known for industrialism and industries, especially for wood products. So if you're in that field, you might consider this area for a job. Just remember, You'll need a work permit if you're not an EU citizen.
If you're hired, your company can sponsor you for this. Maia is also the market leader for paint and coating products.
There's a lot going on in the factories around here as well, in things like food, textiles, and more. So quite an industrial area, but good for jobs and more space compared to larger cities.
It's close to Porto, a city that we love. However, it's not Porto, but you get more space out here, maybe a better cost of living and a slower pace of life. So would Josh and I live here?
All right, Kalie, so Maia is a place that so many of our Portuguese viewers told us whenever we first moved to Porto, hey, check out Maia. Maia's so much cheaper. You guys shouldn't pay those Porto prices. Move to Maia. Like, there were a lot of messages, kind of end of 2020, beginning of 2021. Prices have gone up in Maia, but definitely not as expensive as Porto. What do you think about Maia?
Because they've gone up in Porto too, so that's gone up everywhere, right? And Maia's not too far. I really like how Maia is so close to Porto, so you can catch the metro and be there in 25 minutes. The only one bad thing is it's just one line, so if you just miss the metro, then you might be waiting like 20 minutes to catch the next one, depending on the time of day. But that's really convenient. If you have a car, then it's really convenient to get into Porto. So, I mean, it's nice that it's close to Porto, but we're not talking about that, right? We're talking about Maia as a city. So it's smaller for sure, but I do like that it did seem like there were quite a range of ages. So very family friendly, lots of opportunities for kids, for like the sports complex and things like that. But then you know how you have the range, you have the older population there as well. So it felt very cozy in a sense.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I would say first and foremost, you're not going to have tourists out there.
Yeah.
Like there's not really a reason for tourism. So what comes with that is this idea of being able to integrate more into Portuguese society, not having people default to English when they're communicating with you if you're stumbling your way through Portuguese, because sometimes that can happen in the bigger cities where people will just try to meet you where you are and try to speak to you in English knowing that you're not a native Portuguese speaker.
It's nice. They're friendly like that,
for sure. It's great. It's just, it holds you back from maybe learning Portuguese.
Yeah.
I don't think that would happen as much in Maia. Not to say that people wouldn't know English there. I think that the age demographic that's there and how kind of widespread it is, there wouldn't be that many issues. There's probably some people you'll find that won't speak English. Fine, right? We're in Portugal, so Portuguese. But I think that if you're stumbling your way through, you'd still have people that could help you out. You could grab somebody and be like, can you help me translate this?
Yeah, definitely. And they're very friendly there. Again, we've said this about the North in general. Portuguese are friendly as is, but like in the North, even friendlier, I think.
Yeah.
So, and I think you get that especially when you get into some of the smaller cities and towns. They're just very nice people. So the people were friendly there.
I want to bring up something, variety. How did you feel about the variety that Maia offered?
Well, I did like the little downtown area. That felt very walkable, and it did seem like there were a decent amount of grocery stores and shops and maybe little restaurants. But if you're looking for a variety in like cuisine, I don't think that that's there. Like maybe ethnic cuisine or I think it's a more Portuguese for sure.
Yep, definitely. That was kind of where I was going. That was where I was going with it. So if that's something that's important to you, if you're looking for a wide variety, a more cosmopolitan feel,
it's not there.
Maia's not that.
Yeah.
If you're looking for value for money, I would say yes, Maia's there in terms of what it costs to get a meal, what it costs to go for a night out. Maybe you're wanting to have some drinks with some friends, what it costs for your apartment or your house. All of those things are less than living in a larger city, a larger, maybe more well-known city.
Yeah, that's very true.
Benefits would be proximity to Porto, which we've already discussed, proximity to the airport, which is north of the city, north of Porto. So it's close to Maia. And we spoke to Francis, who we interviewed, and he said, like on a good day when there's no traffic, it's under 10 minutes to get into the city. So if you have a car and you want a car, you'll have parking there, which can be trickier living in the city in Porto. So Maia offers that. Maia offers a little more convenience when it comes to that.
Right, and space, like we were saying, there's definitely more green there. So you have the space for, walking around, and there's like tracks and everything for you to go exercise. So that's nice. But even going back to the car, having that, there's some shopping malls and stuff nearby. So you probably would want a car. So if you're okay with that, then you could live there with the car. If you don't want a car, you'd really kind of pigeonhole yourself to like the downtown area close to the metro
Which
line.
is cute.
It's a cute area.
I think I would want that because it would give me the feeling of like living in Europe as opposed to a maybe like a suburb that could be kind of anywhere, like a nondescript suburb, anywhere kind of in the West, whether it be Europe or North America. So I think I would want to live kind of in the more downtown. I will say, the downtown doesn't necessarily feel Portuguese. It feels European in the way that it's laid out, but it doesn't necessarily have that same charm, maybe, that some of the larger cities, downtown areas have in Portugal.
You think that's maybe because of the architecture?
Could be. Yeah, definitely could be.
Because it is a mix of, old and new, modern and traditional, but the traditional is a bit more like just standard look, nothing.
Right.
Yeah, nothing too.
Like it could be, we're in Spain.
Yeah.
Right? So like the Spanish, more modern, contemporary, maybe is a better word for it. More the contemporary architecture from the last, let's say, 10 to 20 years in Spain and in Portugal. They're pretty samey.
Yeah.
They look very similar.
Now, I do think they have a lot of things going on in Maia, like a lot of events and exhibitions and that stuff they do really well. So that is fun. So if you're there, it's easy to get plugged into that stuff. But if you don't necessarily live in Maia, but nearby Maia, then you can definitely do that as well. So they do have a lot going on for the size.
Yeah, I think we've covered our impressions of Maia. So we need to let you know if we would expat that. So Kalie, the question is, would you expat that? Would you want to live in Maia for a couple years or whatever? Is that
This is a tough one because I think I could live there, but it might be a little too small for me. The good thing is like with a child, with a 3-year-old, there's a lot of opportunity for outdoor things and sports and getting plugged into that. So I think that would be like a really big pro. So I would say I could live there, but would I want to? I think I prefer the amenities and the buzz of a bigger city. So I would say no, I would not live in Maia, but I could. You?
No. For the same reasons that Kalie said. I think that Maia's a very nice place. I would not judge any of my friends for living there, but it doesn't have the same energy, and same.
But if you're looking for something that's a little slower paced, that doesn't have the energy and gives you a bit more space, then Maia is a really good option because it's close to Porto, it's close to the airport, but it's just a little quieter. So
if you want to check out other cities here in Portugal, we've created a playlist just for you. You can click right here. Now, let's get moving. Bye.